Hey Nina, good to see you. I literally just messaged you. Uh, I
I
uh,
never saw it.
so your friend has a link then, or did you need me to send it to her?
Um, I sent it to her. Did I send it to her? I don't know. Hold on.
Okay, just let me know. I could forward. I think I forwarded it to you, so you could forward it to her from what I sent you.
I did. I sent it to her.
Perfect, perfect.
So how do I add someone to the group?
I send it to me and then I add them. I like to introduce myself to everybody before they come on.
Okay, I will do that.
You
Tell
said
me if I haven't done it.
they have. Honestly, you might have sent me stuff like when we were in Maine, and there it might have been over like a bunch of messages. Let me see actually, because I could look at our communication. Hold on a second.
Oh, you mean like send you a text message that way?
Let's see.
I
Hold on.
could do
Let's see if
that.
you sent me her info. We're just going through our messages. Mhm. What's going on, JS Pals? I'm not. Who's JS Pals? Do I know you? Trying to. Right. What are you signing on? Got on? Okay. Hello, Angela Orr.
Hello there, Robbie.
Oh, hello. Good to see.
How are you?
I'm good. You were a mermaid. Now you're a trailblazer. I love what you're doing.
It's fun. Yeah, we're having a really good time.
Good.
Sorry
Good.
to be muted, but I have to work tomorrow, or have my camera off, but I have to work tomorrow, so
Nah, don't ever apologize. Your energy is felt.
I'll put it on real quick just to show you my face. I've
Hey,
got I've been having some issues with my arm going kind of numb, and I think the way I'm laying, so I got a little pillow to put around my neck.
okay. All right. Well, take care of
And
yourself.
you're been a trailblazer. Where the hell have you been?
Me out all over the place.
Where
All
you at? Back at Cape
the time.
Cod?
I'm back on Cape Cod. Um, and yeah, I'm in Cape Cod right now looking for apartments. So
On the Cape?
around this area, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, Wi-Fi.
I'm
Hello,
on.
Allison, it's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hang on here one second. I
Yeah, no,
will.
take your time. I just want to say hello. Oh, hey, how are you?
Good. How are
Very
you?
good. It was really it's nice to see you. Just got connected today, and I love seeing you on the call already. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited for this call.
Yes. And speaking of this call, the lady of the hour, Bev Dance, just joined. Oh, I love your background with the records.
Are you gonna do it out here? Yeah.
Just noticing
Ooh,
previous life.
previous life.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that. Ooh, we're acronym. Hold on one second.
Let me
Huh? I can't hear you.
Yeah, hold on one sec. Oh, no, we're not echoing anymore. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Perfect. So Veronique's here too. She's at the house, her family. Hello, Jillian. How are you? Good to see you. I was actually in Duxbury the other day. Very nice to see you. D, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Good, good. Pat, what's up, my brother?
Robbie, what's going on?
I'm doing great. I played that riff to a bunch of people and they're loving it. So we're gonna create something magical, brother.
I am psyched. Just
Yeah.
let me know what you need. Let me know
Yeah.
what you need. I'll do bass, whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think if you added a bass, that would be really cool.
I'd love to hear what kind of beat you have so I know what to do.
You got it. I'll lay out a drum line and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, baby. Awesome. Hello, Michael Kirkbride. How you doing, my brother? Good to see you.
Hi there.
Very nice to see you as always. Sean Demian, very nice to see you as well. David Warnowski. Sean, I like your photo. I like that.
What's up? Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. Alex Gray.
Alex Gray. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Laura Duxter. How you doing?
Awesome. How are you?
Good. Speaking of Laura, I'm going to repeat this anyway. We got a loaded lineup for July and heading into August. And Laura, if anybody was in Maine, she shared some of her story. But Laura's going to be a guest. We got to figure out the exact date.
Oh, Michael, if you can't get on.
Okay. But yeah, no, we got a great lineup for this for the summer right now, to be honest with you. Just everybody that's that's just part of this community, part of the oneness, part of building with the love that we create through our conversations. It's just a lot of magical things are going on with it.
You can't get on, okay?
All right. So, hello, Margaret Bryce. How we doing? How we doing? Nita, hello. Nita, how are you? Oh my God, that was so nice to see you.
Good. Murat's downstairs.
Got it. Okay. So where's Murat? Did he tell you?
Downstairs. Because there's interference if we sit together.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. You good?
Hey, Robbie.
Hey, Leela, how are you?
Good. I'm good. My brother's on this call with us.
Let's go. Is that, which
Phil.
one is he? Is he
Phil,
JS?
too. No, Phil. Phil.
Phil,
too.
got it.
Yeah.
Phil, hello, Phil 2. Who's Phil 1?
He's both.
Got it. Yes. Hello, Phil 1 and 2. It's very nice to meet you. I'm glad you joined this call. We have another very inspirational story that we're going to be hearing today and then talking about after. I just watched Bev's testimonial again, and it's just like every time you hear it, you hear something different that just gets your heart. You know, it's really beautiful stuff. So I'm really excited for this. Happy that there's people on, so many people that we love on this call. It's
Robbie.
Yes. What's up, Leila?
I'm sorry to interrupt. My friend Margie's on the call. Hi, Margie.
Is that Margaret? Is Margie Margaret?
Margaret, yes.
Margie, what's going on?
Good.
Oh,
Glad to
there
be
you
here.
are.
Thank
Hello.
you. I'm sorry?
I said hello. There you are.
Hello.
Oh, she's on her 150th day of 30 minutes a day of the pineal breath work.
Oh, wow. Let's go.
Right?
So how do you two know each other? Through meditation, or you guys have you?
From another group of Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Beautiful. Yeah, please feel free to always join these calls, and anybody who you think would benefit or just love these conversations, always feel free to invite. This is about the collective energy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you,
Kathy, what's up? I just saw your beautiful smile. How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful.
Hi,
Alex-
everybody.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Just said hi, everybody.
Kathy in the house as always. Amelia, how are you? Good to
So
see
good. Hey, fam. Very excited for this call.
you. Beautiful. Yeah, so happy to see you.
Happy to see you. You look nice and tanned.
Oh,
Yeah.
should have saw me yesterday. I'm. You know what's funny is what's behind me is red, so I know I'm not as red as I was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I did a 40-minute meditation on the beach, and I woke up. I was like, I got to turn around. I was on fire. I don't use suntan lotion, so I got to operate a little differently.
Coconut oil's good.
Coconut oil. Okay. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
It's a good protector.
Baby oil with iodine.
Baby oil iodine. Big John, what's going on? John Boogie
that-
Woogie Woogie. How are you?
I'm doing good. My son Gabe may be joining us in a few minutes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Kevin, how are you, man?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How was the family trip?
It was awesome, man. Yeah, we had a great time.
Hey, I see that you're there. Okay, good.
Big. All right. So we got
All right, talk to you
we
later.
got
Bye.
mystical, magical Russ. One of the speaking of trailblazers, my man Russ is on the call. Russ Rudy. Good to see you, my brother.
Hi, Rob. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Russ. Hey.
Hello, Teresa. Hello, Yelena. See, I want to make sure I'm on. Okay, we got a couple other people.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Hi, Teresa. Put you off. Karen Berliner, very nice to see you.
Hi.
David Warnowski. Hardeep, how are you? David, what's up, brother?
Hey, Hardeep is the one who invited me, so that's kind of
beautiful. Good timing. I guess that
Yeah,
was-
just met him in Cancun, so
Oh, beautiful. Did you
yeah.
meet him in December?
No, last week.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is that okay? I met Hardeep in Cancun as well, but it was in December.
Yeah.
I had an hour-long conversation with him that was just about, yeah, it was wonderful. We introduced ourselves and just talked forever.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, yeah. Suzanne Eve or Susan Eve and Eve. Susan Eve or Susan?
Hey, Robbie.
Hello.
Good to see you. Awesome.
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Beautiful.
Hey.
And Vesna, it's nice to see you too. I believe you just joined the group, Murad.
Hi,
With us. Yeah, very nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. Actually, we met at Situate first time last year, I think, but I don't know if you remember. Doesn't matter.
No, where was it at Michael's house?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah. You did look
I
familiar.
was there.
Nice. Nice to see you, meet you again, I guess. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Beautiful. Yeah, Murad's doing a heck of a job getting all.
Just let you watch it.
Oh, there's Murad too. There you are.
I don't know. I might just watch that show with the
All right,
kids.
yeah, it's fine.
Who's
Give me
talking?
the
Who's
update.
talking? Don't make me get out of my chair.
Robbie,
Yes.
I just want to introduce Karen Berliner. She's new tonight, and she's introduced Michael and myself to Dr. Joe like a year and a half ago.
Oh, beautiful. Hello, Karen. Very nice to meet you.
Hello, Robbie. Nice to be here.
Thank
you so much for having me.
Yeah, definitely. You do look familiar, Karen.
Maybe we've seen each other before, or maybe on another online group.
Possibly. It's nice to see you here. Thor, what is going on, my brother?
Good to be here, my friend. Good to be here.
So guys, we're going to get started around like 8:10, 8:15 because people tend to roll in a little later. So I just want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to hear Bev's amazing journey. So typically what happens is someone tells their story, which is Bev, and it just creates conversation and magic Beautiful stuff. Kevin, I just see your son there. Just want to say hello to him. What's your name, bud?
Oh, you're on mute. Go ahead.
What's your name? Son there.
Camden.
Was Dan's in?
Camden, yeah.
Camden.
Oh, Camden, what's up, brother? I heard you're sick.
Camden. Hey,
Camden, what's up, brother? I heard you're sick.
he's getting embarrassed now.
It's all good. Well, nice to see you, little guy.
He's getting
It's all good. Well, nice to see you, little guy. Oh, I'm echoing. I got to mute everybody and unmute everybody. Hold on, I'm echoing.
Laura, the kids love the book.
Sorry, I got to mute everybody and then unmute yourself if you could. I just had to. There's a lot of echo going on right there. All right, just want to say hello, Lala. What's going on?
Hey, am I supposed to unmute?
Yes. Yeah. Good. Yeah. No, I just had to mute because it was echoing.
Oh, okay. What's up, man?
Yeah. How we doing today?
My friend Laura just said she's here.
Beautiful. Hello, Laura. Let's see. Karen, what's going on? I see you next to Big Russ. How are we? Good to see you.
Hey, Robbie.
Hello.
Everybody.
David, what's up, brother?
Much. How we doing?
I'm doing good. And speaking of guests for this month, we have two of them here. Laura's going to be a guest, as well as David. David has a incredible story that he needs to share with all of us as well. So just super inspiring stuff here. Super inspiring. So thank you, David. Heidi, what's up? I miss you. Somebody just message something.
Robbie, my friend Catherine, who you met up in Maine, joined too. So she's on the call tonight.
I was like, that's who looks familiar right there. I see her photo. Hello, Catherine. How you doing? You still got your dancing shoes on?
I do, and I've got my Michael Fran t-shirt on.
Nice. Yeah, we had such a great time in Maine. Just a lot of energy, a lot of love. So much great things happened. Me and a couple other people through a retreat in Maine, Dresden, Maine, called the Summer of Love. We had 3 musical acts, which were me, Lala Deaton, as well as Travis, aka Agent Johnny Red. And then we also had just some people helping out with meditations throughout the day as well. It was a beautiful experience. Murad, my sister Ryan, Christy Locks, who does breath work with us every Friday, which is going to turn into every Wednesday. So every Wednesday is going to be Murad and Christy Day. It's super powerful. But yeah, it was just a magical time. We met a lot of great people and created a lot of energy and a lot of connections.
And Laura was there.
And Laura, yeah, Laura, I mean, she had the most magical part. She turned us back into children, which was beautiful. Loved it. And Laura, so I'm at my house on the Cape right now. And so Laura is a New York Times bestselling children's author. And my mother was a kindergarten teacher for 30 years. And Laura is like one of my mother's favorite authors. So it was just such a great, just such a nice random event that occurred last night. Talking to her, it was beautiful. It's really great.
Total God incidents, no random.
No random, exactly.
Total God incidents. And I'm in Plymouth now for 5 days. So I texted you. We'll get together hopefully. And Catherine, I was at the Microfronte concert on Thursday and it was so amazing. And Julia and the girls met us there too.
Yes, I saw that.
So
great.
good.
That's great. Wonderful. Okay, so Ilka, how are you? Good to see you.
Hi.
How's your kitty cat?
He survived, which was we weren't sure, but he's doing better.
Good.
Yeah, so that's great. I may even go up to Mount Shasta tomorrow or the day after because Bruce Lipton is there.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
so there's a workshop going on. I'll see how my kitty does tomorrow. But anyway, good. Nice to see everyone.
Yes. Brienne, I see you there. I miss you. How you doing? How was Cancun?
Cancun was amazing. Being back has been a roller coaster, but being there was amazing. It was really good.
Great. And
Really
oh, sorry.
Really hot, obviously.
Yeah, I'm really, my skin is really hot right now. Chuck, what's up, brother? How are you? Good to see you, man. I like that hat. Look like you're about to beat someone at the Billy Club.
Patty.
Old school. I love it. No, I love it. Okay. All right. So we're going to try to I'm just going to start talking about random stuff. And Bev, we're going to get you rolling in about 5 minutes. I just want to make sure that I mention some things. So sending love out, we're going to just if everybody just sends love out when they have a minute, some energy towards them for Lala. Lala's been her body just been going through some things. So let's just keep sending her some love. Heidi, hello again. Hi. Your friend Pauline, who's suffering from breast cancer. So let's put some energy towards her as well. And Ilka, yeah, I'm glad your cat's doing a little better. And also, I missed a message. Just Karen Proctor's part of our community. I just saw that her dog passed away. So if everybody just reached out to her just to give her some love as well. And welcome to all the new people on the call too. I want to give a shout out to Angela Orr for just continually inspiring us with all these great ideas and just connecting the community even more with her book club. I'll give a shout out to John Mullane for dancing outside of his car. He got called out by Thor and he did it in the middle of nowhere. Pretty cool, great energy. And Thor, just your constant inspiration, brother. Just every day you just write, you're on top of your game and you know what it's all about. So thank you for just being there and just being yourself because you inspire a lot of people.
And I'm challenging you to a dance off Thor in September.
Yeah. Let's go. That sounds good.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I'll take that challenge. Thank you.
Beautiful. So yeah, I've had some, let's see. Okay. So we got Bev's story. All right. So I just want to talk about stuff because I've had some crazy experience, just this experience that I've been having on Cape Cod. My nephew passed away in 2015, 3-year-old nephew passed away. I actually almost died too. I ended up contracting what he had and I ended up being okay. But we spread his ashes here and just magical things have happened since I've been up here and just something happened yesterday. I wanted to share it just to share the energy, but also wondering if anybody knows what happened or can explain it or just talk to me on the side about it. So of the things that happened here, I've had trees talk to me. I've had people's faces show up in clouds. I've had orbs show up on the beach. I've had spirits basically enter my body in a very just out of nowhere. Just crazy stuff happens while I'm out here. And yesterday I was running And I was running and out of nowhere, I just saw this big circle. So when I actually, side note is when I was in Niagara Falls, I had a really, really amazing mystical experience where I had this silver lasso of electricity go under my feet. And it just did something to me in 5D while I was in 3D. But anyway, so this similar thing showed up around my feet while I was running. It was a huge circle of a rainbow that followed me for about 2 miles, and it followed me all the way into the shower. It was an outdoor shower, but yeah, it was just crazy stuff has been happening out here. I just wanted to share that energy with everybody. I don't know if anything's ever happened like that to anybody before, but that was certainly my first experience. I'm talking like, I'd say like a hula hoop sized rainbow was just around me the entire time. It was really, really magical. So I wanted to share that. The energy out here is incredible. I threw a retreat out here. We had some mystical experiences. But yeah, I just wanted to share that to give everybody that energy before we get into the main event. And all right, so I do want to thank all my past Sunday Night Journey guests as well. The energy is real. Things just happen to us as a community as well as individually when we have these conversations, and a lot's going to happen from this one. I think the last really big impactful one that's similar to Bev's was Brienne when she shared her story from when she came home from Nashville, and so much happened, so much got created, so much dialogue, but also Ajit had a pretty inspirational call too. So I shouldn't even say that, but just from that call, it just built this, it got our community closer as far as our hearts. And that's one of the reasons why I'm just very excited about this call. So Bev, as I told you, I'm just gonna, you're just gonna kind of take the mic and run with it. I just wanted to, give a brief recap. If anybody didn't see her testimony, or if it did, autoimmune diseases, MS type symptoms, grave disease, fibromyalgia, on over 7 medications, and you are here where you are right now. So, and diagnosed with breast cancer. If I didn't say that out loud, I didn't say that, sorry. And yeah, it's just a truly inspirational story that I think we all need to hear. And it's not only going to be, dripping off some layers for you and peeling some layers for you, but it's going to help so many people in this community. So without further ado, the amazing Bev Dantz.
Yeah, thank you. It's as if I'm not nervous enough. I want to just start out by saying that, most of my life I've been a pretty private person, and Dr. Joe, his work in the community has really, really changed that. And I just want to say this group, I have no words how inspirational this group is and how close I feel to some of you. And I mean, in some ways I barely know you. So it's, so thank you. And I'm hoping not to bore you. My story started a long time ago, and, it continues. I don't know, but, it started, I would say, back in 2010, I was living a very, very stressful life. I was the sole provider of the house. I had 2 kids that I was raising. I had a husband who was kind of spiraling down in his own life, who is my best friend, who, we all have our stuff, but, I was really burning the candle at both ends. I mean, I was trying to be a stay-at-home mom while I was working a full-time job because I worked at home. It was insane. I was literally like, anyways, when you talk about stress and what it does to the body, I was the perfect example of what not to do. And to the point where, so in 2010, I had a pretty bad car accident in a taxi cab. And this is how insane I was, just to give you a picture of the personality I was. I was going to the Bronx to see a client, and we smashed into the car in front of me. I knew my neck hurt really bad, but I had to get to my meeting because you got to go to your meeting, right? So I go to the meeting. I had to hold my head up. I got on a train, didn't get home till God knows when, slept in, didn't see a chiropractor till like probably over 24 hours later. And I had severe whiplash and I never really took care of it because I had to keep working. I had to keep moving. It was like, that was my life. And I think I've read that sometimes when things like that happen, it can start a domino effect. And that's pretty much what happened to me. So soon after, I started getting these really bad sweats. I had been on thyroid medicine since I was 12 because I had growths of my thyroid that they give you the medicine so that it stops your thyroid from working. And then it reduces the growth. So I had been on thyroid medicine. I thought maybe it was just off. So long story short, I had a really, really bad episode of about 2 hours of really bad heart palpitations in November of that year. And it turns out I had Graves' disease. So I had a total thyroidectomy in January 2011. This is, again, how crazy I was with all of this. I am on the gurney. I'll never on the gurney talking to a client. And I'm like, I gotta go because they're wheeling me in now and the doctor's pissed off. Like, so I get my thyroid out. I think that I'm going to just be totally fine after this. No, and I go to the follow-up appointment and the doctor said to me, we just want you to know that we found cancer in your thyroid. And I was like, I just remember looking at her thinking, okay, can I go now? And she's like, I think you're in shock. And I'm like, I'm not in shock. I was kind of numb. This is how I live my life. I had places to be. I had things to do, places to be. And she was like, look, I think that we got it all. And it was, it was a small cancer. So we don't feel like we have to do any treatment. And that was it. And I left. I was like, okay, fine. And like, check, got the cancer off my list. And I thought I was going to heal after that. I thought I was done. And it was literally my life just fell apart after that. I think I was feeling good for 2 weeks and one thing after another, I just got sicker and sicker and sicker. And I actually wrote a list because I do forget about all the things that I had. But over the next year, I was diagnosed with chronic Lyme, fibromyalgia. They found, they did a MRI of my neck and found demyelination in my brain stem. And so they ended up looking at my brain and I've got demyelination like extremely similar to MS. So that's a whole other story. I had IBS. I had 2 of the 3 markers for lupus, but it wasn't quite lupus. I had almost all the markers for Sjögren's syndrome, but not quite. I had a connective tissue autoimmune. I had quarter-size like welts on my scalp. I was so embarrassed to even get my hair done because I thought they would think it was some communicable disease or something like that. I was diagnosed with ADD, depression. I had a bout of gout. I was allergic to almost everything, and they found huge kidney cysts. I had dysautonomia. And I mean, I was not functional. So I went from being extremely high functional, that was like 2011. By 2014, I had to file for disability. I literally could not get up in the morning. But I want to tell a really cool story of something that happened like in the midst of all this. I woke up one day when I was thinking that I was just a doctor actually said to me, of course you're depressed. I don't know who wouldn't be depressed with what's going on right now. Anyways, I found this guy, he was a neurologist who specialized in MS. And he decided that he was going to take over my care. And I thought he really cared about me. I thought he really cared about all these different autoimmunes. He showed my films to 2 different conferences of neurologists, and they all said I had MS. But he swore it wasn't, and he wanted to prove that it wasn't. So anyways, I'm scared, I'm stressed, I'm losing my life. And I wake up one morning and I look out my door. It was actually at night. I'm sorry. I look out my door and I have a driveway that is, I don't know, maybe 20 car lengths. It's a really long, skinny driveway. My entire driveway was covered in white feathers. I have a picture of it. I'm going to show you. I couldn't get it really. I was freaking out, and I was not a spiritual person. I was not like, I was like, I think this means something. I think there's someone that's going to guide me through this. Like, it was the weirdest, coolest, most bizarre thing. So anyways, that happened. And I ended up filing for disability. I left my job in 2014. And what that ended up doing was my husband had to get off. He just had to get his shit together, because I was like, so looking back, it was a really blessing for him. 2014 to 2016, I was literally at the doctor, a different doctor every couple of weeks for testing. Because this one guy wanted to prove, he said there was, I don't know, 80 autoimmune diseases that have never been diagnosed. They've never been, what do you call it? There's no marker for them, but they know they exist. And he wanted to be the guy that discovered it. And I didn't realize this until I told him, I had started reading the first book I read. Someone just mentioned Bruce Lipton. So the first book I read was The Biology of Belief. And I think he mentions Dispenza in it. So I read that. I'm like, I got to find this guy Dispenza. So I read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And I was like, it just spoke to me. And I don't really know why, but it just spoke to me. And I just decided that, like, wait a minute, the person that I'm being, I'm literally, my whole life revolved around being sick. I was just going to the doctor nonstop. And then I realized that even if they figured out what was wrong with me, there's no cure for any of these things. And the medicines that they do have only, help alleviate some of the symptoms, and they're horrible side effects. So I told my doctor I wasn't gonna, I didn't want to go anymore. I'm like, I don't care what this is. I really just don't even care anymore. And he got really pissed off at me. So that was my first experience of having a doctor. I was the kind of person who walked into a doctor's office and said, tell me what to do, tell me what to take, I'll do whatever you say, and I'm not even going to think about it. And then I was like, this guy never had my back. He was just looking out for himself. And it just like became apparent to me. So anyways, I was seeing a naturopath for chronic Lyme. And anyway, so that the importance of that is in November of 2016, actually, sorry, I should say September 2016, I decided I needed to go to one of the Dispenza events. So I signed up for the Progressive that was in February. And I just decided that it was, I didn't even know exactly what it was that was going to happen. I just knew I needed to change. And I knew that maybe in changing, some of this stuff would go away. And then November that year, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was like, there's something about facing your mortality, that all these diseases, they ruined my life, but they never threatened to take my life. And it just, when Dispenza says, you've got to make a decision with such great intention, that the energy is greater than your body. It's like, it's a moment that you're never going to forget. And I believe that, like, that is how I felt. And I was like, I got to make this work. I just got to make this work. I don't really know. And at that point in time too, I didn't know if I was gonna, I didn't think about, am I doing, chemotherapy and radiation, or am I doing this other stuff? I just knew, for some reason, there's this huge knowing in me that he had some answers for me. And so anyways, I went to see the naturopath I was seeing for the chronic Lyme said, try to delay your biopsy, look for information, don't get a biopsy because the biopsy can spread the cancer, blah, blah, blah. And he just put seeds of doubt in my head. So I delayed the biopsy till December. And then I finally, by the time I went, they suggested that I get a special biopsy that they can actually, they take a sample and they send it to some lab for way too much money. And they tell you what kind of therapies, what kind of chemotherapy will work best against it. So they can actually test the chemotherapy on it. And so anyways, I had that done. And it came back that my cancer was, it was almost stage 3. It was stage 2 by like, an 1/8 of a centimeter. It was grade 3. It was supposed to be very aggressive. And they tell you, you have to hurry, you have to hurry, you have to hurry. Like, it's just like, it's this weird sort of system that cancer is, that they pull you through. And it's just when you've got all this going on and you're trying to think through. So I was like, okay, I'll do surgery. But I was so sick at the time that in my head, I thought intuitively, again, I don't even know if I actually thought of these words, but intuitively, I felt that I was not going to be able to do chemotherapy. Like I was so weak that I just didn't see it happening. So I go see a surgeon, and she scheduled surgery for January. And she said that before you get surgery, we just have to do an MRI, and they look at where the tumor is. They want to have an exact location, so when she goes in, it helps her. And when I went in, it's Beth Israel. It's a great hospital in Boston. It's not like a shit hospital, whatever. And I go into the hospital, and just like every other time I went into the doctor, I'd go in for one thing and they'd give me like 3 other things that are wrong with me. And I went in and they said, you have an extremely enlarged heart, and I don't think you can have an operation. So they send the report to the surgeon. She's like, I can't operate on you until you get clearance from a cardiologist, because it's very dangerous to put you under. Your heart's really enlarged, and we don't know what's causing that. That's a whole other can of worms kind of thing. And so I went to a that was middle of December. I went to my husband's, my in-laws for Christmas break. We get a week off at Christmas, and my in-laws are the sweetest damn people in the world. And they basically took care of my kids, and I was left alone, and I meditated at least 3 times a day. And this was so new for me. And I was doing shit, like I was doing the placebo. I heard that not breaking the habit, I would say that the blessing of the energy centers, there was very few testimonials at the time, but the people were talking about the blessing of the energy centers and how that heals. But I had no training. I was just getting these online. So when you sign up for the progressive, they give you this is what they used to do. They give you a recording of an intensive workshop. It's just like a step before that. And so I read, I literally, like, it was almost as if I was in a college class, but I studied. I would take notes. I would stop the recording and I would take notes, and I'd make sure I understood it. And I went through the thing, and then I would read it as if I was studying for an exam. And then I would meditate, and I would, I signed up for the telephone calls, and I did the same thing. I freaking took notes on the telephone calls, which is I was head down, I'm moving forward, and scared. I was really scared. And the day after Christmas break, my husband and I went into Boston, and I had to see a cardiologist, whatever, and I get whatever tests, and he sits me down. And I'm just expecting, like, for him to tell me, like, freaking, who knows what else blew up, And he's like, I don't know why I don't know what happened, but your heart's smaller than average. And when Dr. Joe says, like, hold on to that little thing, this was like, it blew my brain open, because there's literally no other explanation. There's literally no, it was like, there's no other explanation other than, the practice, the work, that somehow it was working. And so with that, my surgery was canceled, and the doctor wanted to reschedule it. And I kind of delayed on that. And I said, you know what, maybe I'm going to look into doing therapy first. So, and meanwhile, the freaking progressive is February. And I'm like, how am I going to get to February? So I'm just going to have to just keep trying, and I'm just going to have to keep, I don't know, placating the system. So I go to see an oncologist at Beth Israel, and he says he wants me to do this aggressive. They wanted me to do, I think it was like 18 months of treatment, and it was a lot of chemotherapy, and it was going to be followed by the surgery and radiation. There was also, there's another, I forget what it's called, their antibody therapy for the particular kind of cancer that I had. It was a whole bunch of stuff. And I said to him, I had no idea what I was going to do going in, but I just knew again, I was like, I can't do the chemo. I'm like, so I said to him, I'm just going to do the antibody therapy. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if my body can handle that. And then I'll do the chemo next. And he's like, but that's nothing. That's not going to do anything for you. And I'm like, but this is what I want to do. I swear to God, the guy had a tear in his eye and he looked at me and he said, you're throwing your life away. And I'm like, no, I'm not, this is what I want to do right now. He made me sign all these papers saying that it was my decision. It wasn't his decision. It was this whole thing. And then he also tried, this is something that just sticks in my memory. He tried to convince me to join a group of people who had breast cancer for support. And knowing what little I knew about Dr. Joe's work, I thought, well, those aren't the people I want to really be around. I want to be around the people who are healthy. I don't want to be in these chat rooms with people who are just struggling and bitching and talking about their illness, so whatever, he was really against that too. So then my husband ended up, this was finally, it was like the Wednesday before. It was the second time I went. It was the Wednesday before the progressive. I know he just did a manual measurement because you could see the tumor right out of my chest. And he did a manual measurement and said it was whatever it was. It was almost 3 centimeters. And I went to the progressive. And I don't know anybody. I didn't even stay there. Because I didn't know that it would even be worthwhile staying there. I just found the cheapest hotel and I just show up, and who do I sit next to but a girl who had the exact same cancer as me, the same stage, the same grade, the same everything. And she tells me a story about how she doesn't want to do chemo because three people in her family died from chemo. Cancer runs wild in her family. And I had never heard of anyone dying from chemo. I didn't know it was I literally didn't know it was possible. I just knew intuitively that I didn't think my body could handle such intense stuff. So now she's got me thinking. Now I'm like, wait a minute. So this is actually a thing. Like I could actually die of that. Why the hell would I even try that? So then I decided to try to find someone to agree with me that I could do this on my own, that I could do just a natural approach. And when I say that I talked to the naturopath I went to for the chronic Lyme was working with one of the leading herbologists in the country. And they actually I had so many people helping me, and they actually discussed it with this leading naturopath or integrative oncologist. And he said, absolutely not. Like looking at the testing that they did, they could test that mine was really aggressive and I needed to do the chemo. I was working with an intuitive healer at the time, and she sent me out to San Diego to talk to, of all things, which I just thought of this today, it's an oncologist from UCSD. Just the tie-in from UCSD is just kind of, yeah, it's just interesting to me. So I met with him. I literally flew out there just to talk to him, just to hopefully have him tell me that it was okay for me to not do chemo. And he said to me, I'm going to be completely honest. If you were a patient of mine and I just looked at your records and I looked at the labs, I would say this woman has to do chemo. But I'm meeting you, we're face to face, and I'm looking and I'm hearing you. And I hear that in your heart, this isn't the right thing for you. And so I think you need to go with what your heart's telling you. This guy, yeah. So that's the closest to a okay that I got. And that's all I needed. And so then my husband found a integrative cancer research center it was in Chicago. There's whatever, Cancer Centers of America, and they're all over the place. But the interesting thing is because it's the industry is such a scam, they would charge my insurance. So here's the deal. They would send me out there for treatment every 3 weeks, and they would charge my insurance for everything, for the airfare, for the ride over there, for all the treatment. And they were supposedly integrative. So I went out there to talk to them and just see what they had to say. And this guy the oncologist was so incredibly friendly and nice. And, oh, I agree with you. I think that I hear your story. And I didn't dare tell him about, my meditation, but I was just telling him like there are natural approaches, and he agreed with me. And then right at the end, he said to me, I want to just see if you can I'm going to do a little bit of chemo. We're going to just see if you can try a little bit of chemo. And I was like, I can't do it. And he talked me into it to the point I was standing in the hallway waiting for them to put my line in. And I freaked out. I'm like, this is just not for me. This is not the right thing for me. He had given me his cell phone. I called him on his cell phone. And he's like, if this is going to work, you're going to have to trust me. We're only going to do a little bit. I've got, blah, 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 whatever. So I did. And I ended up in the ER because I had an allergic reaction. Again, like every step of the way, every setback that I had, every issue that I had, I think is a blessing, because the allergic reaction caused them to stop forcing me to have the chemo. So I no longer qualified, because I had a little bit, I no longer qualified for any of the studies, and they couldn't make me do the chemo because my heart almost gave out, and I had like a horrific reaction. So I was going there and their plan was, okay, here's the deal. We're gonna just let you do the natural therapies, and we're gonna do surgery and radiation. So I was like, okay. And I knew in my head, I was never going to have that done. But I have a very traditional family. I have very traditional friends. Even though I went to the progressive, there was one girl I met. I had no community. I had no one to talk to about this. So for me, it was really important to just I didn't tell a lot of people I even had cancer, but then I didn't want anyone that knew that I had it, like my family. I didn't want them to know that I wasn't doing traditional treatment, because I didn't want them to talk me out of it, to tell me, to make me question it. So I just decided that I decided I was just going to go all in. And I tried so hard to do whatever I could to live the life of a healthy person. I used to get up in the morning. I was so tired. My husband used to have to leave an energy drink next to my bed. I would drink it before I could literally get my ass out of bed. Like I was so tired. And I was like, screw that. That's not happening anymore. You're just not going to do it. I'm going to make myself get up. I would put on sweats. And because I worked on Zoom a lot, I used to wear these, I'd wear like a cardigan, and my kids they made fun of me because that was my outfit. I had sweats and a cardigan, and I just looked like a freaking, like I didn't give a shit. And I was not, that's just not, I didn't get myself up and out, So I was like, no, you're going to get up and out. I remember Dr. Joe telling a story about a girl who started brushing her teeth with the other hand. So I started brushing my teeth with my left hand, because then you're never in that trance. Like anything I could do that would be different would be what I wanted. I had a whole bunch of medications that you mentioned, and I just weaned myself off them. I didn't want to get any doctors involved. I didn't want any doctor's input. I just weaned myself off all of them. The only one that I stayed on was my thyroid medicine. And then, I ended up getting also another huge thing for me was the mind movies. Dr. Joe used to do mind movies, and he talked about it in the progressive. And so I went and bought it for myself. And if you're not familiar with it, it's just it's video. You can put it's just a software that you can put video together, and you can put it to music. And to me, music is just a really huge influence to me. It has been my whole life. And
it's the language of the world. It's a
response. And my song was Fight Song. This is my fight song, Take Back My Life song, Prove I'm All Right song. And I don't even care if nobody else believes, because I still got a lot of fight left in me. And I swear to God, I can't listen to that song without still like my heart bursting open. And just, I lived it. So I used to go every 3 weeks. I would go to this cancer treatment center, and I'd fly out there. I would somehow get in my head like I was just taking a little break. I was going on a spa vacation. I'd get vitamin C infusions. I'd get Reiki chiropractic, acupuncture, and I'd get a night off without the kids and the dog and like a night off. It was nice. And that was kind of, I can't explain it, but this place was not, it didn't make you feel sick. There was nothing, they had organic food. That was another huge thing that because I had known all about Bruce Lipton and epigenetics and all that, I was like looking at my life saying, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to trust in my ability to have my body heal itself, I'm going to get out of the way. And that means like, I mean, sugar feeds cancer. So there was like not an ounce. I didn't even have ketchup. There was, if there was a sugar listed an ingredient, it was not in my life. There was like, all organic, it was got rid of all the whatever crap that the Diet Pepsis and all that shit that I was eating and drinking. And it's funny because in the threads, people were talking about like, if I do, if I do other therapies, does that mean that I'm doubting Dr. Joe? And to me, it just means you're just supporting it. To me, I felt like anything I can do to help the process. I don't want to like, I wasn't sitting there going, body, you go do this on your own while I'm going to go like kick back. It was head down to the point where by the end of May, I think it was like the first weekend in June, I had an ultrasound and there was no sign of disease left. And so that's 4 months I got rid of it. And I can't even explain. I can't explain how that felt. Even though I was massively elated, I was still sort of confused because I'd never been to an advanced workshop and because I had my head down and I was just going, like, this is just my new life. I am just this healthy person. And all of a sudden it was funny because I kept going to the freaking hospital. And then I remember it was September and I had other experiences too. I ended up getting a different oncologist because that other guy was a real jerk. And I just want to say this one oncologist that I ended up having at the end is the only guy, it was the coolest thing in the world. And I walked into his office and he hugged me. And I was like, it was like a real hug. And I was like, thank you. Like, that was the coolest thing. Like, and he said he would take care of me. He goes, I'll oversee you, but you've got to promise you're going to have surgery. And I think he knew I really wasn't going to do it, but he let me just continue to go. And then finally this intuitive healer I was working with just says to me, she's like, why are you still going? And it's like, I never thought of it like I was going because I was sick. Like it's almost like I convinced myself so much that I was going because it was a good thing to do. It was everything I was doing for my illness was really just for my health. Everything that I took, everything that I did, it was like, because it's just to boost my immune system, to help my body heal itself. That's all I'm doing. And then I was like, I don't know why I'm still going, but I don't. And she goes, what if you just stopped? And I literally just stopped going and no one ever called me. It was the weirdest, I think it was the weirdest experience. So yeah, so that's pretty much my story. I think that one of the things that was pretty cool is that somewhere along the line, I think it was before I did the testimonial. So it was sometime in 2017. I went to see my endocrinologist and she told me my thyroid grew back. And I said that in my testimonial and I thought it was really cool. I mean, but I didn't know it couldn't be done. She didn't say like, holy shit, what's happened here? She just said, hey, this is kind of cool. And that's just kind of how she is. She's also open to Dr. Joe and she's got like the medical, medium, whatever on her shelf. So she's like, you should talk to your surgeon. I don't even know why, looking back, she wanted me to go back to her, but she wanted me to go back to the surgeon to make sure it was okay. And I go back to the surgeon and she ends up just telling me off. She's just like, I called them up and she's like, how dare you? We took it out. I'm like one of the best surgeons in the freaking blah. We got everything out. There's no reason to come back here. And then I just dropped it. I was like, well, okay, I'm not going to deal with that. That is just not in line with where I'm at right now. And so I never did anything about it. it was funny because I was talking to someone recently about the fact that, it's not a 4-minute mile if you don't know that it's not possible. Like I didn't, until all of a sudden, Dr. Joe and people are talking about, wow, this girl grew back her thyroid. And I'm like, is that a thing? Is that not I don't know. So I'm kind of inspired to see what I can do and get it to work. But it hasn't worked since I was 12. So that's a big ask. There's endless possibilities though. So yeah, so I went to my first event in 2017 and my first advanced event, and yeah, kind of a lifer ever since. I had the absolute amazing privilege of meeting Dr. Joe. I went on a cruise with him and Anita Morjani, and I got to thank him, but I think I was too nervous and weird. But I'm looking at the guy who I felt saved my life, and not only saved my life, but saved my husband's life, because it got him to straighten out his life, and now he's into the work. And my kids are so much more better. They're so much better off than they ever would have been.
Hey, Bev, can you hear me? Can you talk about that actually? Because that's one thing I was going to say, the impact that this has had on your daughter. Do you want to dive into that just a little bit?
So sure. Well, my youngest was 14 at the time that I took them on this cruise. I just decided, it was 2018. I decided my whole family has to experience this guy. And it was a cruise where Dr. Joe and Anita Morjani were going to do whatever they were doing. It was events, but it wasn't anything like what he normally does. He didn't even do meditations, but he talked for 2 hours every day, at least once a day. And my younger daughter went there, and she suffers from anxiety. She's in her head a lot. And anyway, she was 14 years old, and I have the coolest Instagram screenshots, but she had posted something while we're waiting for the plane on the way home to her friends, just saying, just explaining this trip that she went on, and explaining there's this guy, Dr. Joe. And anyways, he I don't know, I can even read it at some point, but it was just really cool. And she's like, I don't know what happened to me, but I feel so much better than I did when I got here. And then like ever since then, she's been just, I'm trying to get her to an event, but she's just so she's open to the work. She does his meditations. My older daughter had to write, she had to read a nonfiction book in 12th grade, and she had to write a letter to the author. So she picked Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and she wrote the coolest letter to Dr. Joe. She understood that book better than probably most adults. I think kids get it. They just get it. And like I said, I was the kind of person, none of this was in my life. Like if none of this happened, I wouldn't have, I would have, I don't know where I would have been, but this is, life is beautiful now. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's very, yeah. And I think like, I just continue, I think the work never ends, because I just continue to sit there and peel more layers and more layers and more layers. And out of all those things that I had, I still have demyelination in my brain, but I have zero, I don't have any, symptoms anymore. I used to lose my words. They used to make fun of it. I used to joke around about it, but I would be in the middle of talking and I'd just say, how's that? I'd mean to say like, how you feeling? And I'd say like, how you driving? Or like these words would just like pop in. And so we would laugh about it, but I don't have anything like that anymore. And it's just stable. And I'm working on my spine and, working on releasing, I think the more you do the work, the more awareness you have. And I think that, I was trying to think like, I would say that I'd credit half of my results to my meditations, and half, the meditations bring the awareness, but the awareness helps bring the healing. Okay. That's all I can, that's my experience anyways, because the more aware I am, the more I can stop these and change. And then, and I'm covering all these like traumas that were, I mean, I did not have the easiest upbringing, and I used to think that just burying it, getting rid of it, I'm tough, I can do it, nothing's going to stop me. And it just got buried and it never came out. And so, yeah. So I talked a long time.
Oh, keep talking. This is
I'm
your
sorry.
This is your platform. I got more questions. You're going to keep talking.
Oh, questions are awesome, but I just feel like
you're like, everything you're just saying is so inspirational. And I do have a question. I wanted to see if you could answer it. Just like with all your success and that you've gotten from the meditation, and what you just said is so true. Because I was actually saying to myself today is that meditation brings you to the place where you can deal with your things, because it brings you on that vibration to face the things that you don't face that when you're on the lower vibration. So meditation gives you a chance. But you said something in your video where you said it's very easy to get distracted. And it's simple, but sometimes we forget. Do you have, as far as any inspirational strategies or just processes you go through that you could share for people that do get a little frustrated when?
Yeah. So for me, I don't know if the only way I can describe it is I don't know why this thought came to me, but I used to smoke, and I moved to California and no one smoked out there when I moved. So I quit smoking, and I come home and all my friends in Massachusetts are smoking. So the minute I get home, I'm smoking again. Then I go back to California. It's like, it's the same thing when I do the work. And if I would go out with my friends that are not in this world, I would sort of like I don't know. I can't even explain the feeling, but it wasn't, but it would just make me lose the whole idea of there's endless possibilities. I mean, there's got to be, I love just knowing that there's got to be a potential in the field. There's got to be a possibility in the field, and you just have to tap into it. And I think that some of the meditations, like the blessing of the energy centers, I actually, I was so closed off. I couldn't feel my heart. I couldn't feel my first 3 centers. I was so closed off. And when I started feeling it, I started really feeling that I was taking my energy back. So that's really big too. But in terms of like keeping it, so I think communities like this is huge. For me, I would watch testimonials, and I still do. Like if I go on long drives right now, I've been driving at Rhode Island a lot, and I listen to Unlocked, or I'll listen to the telecalls, or I'll listen to whatever. I have the progressive tape. I'll just listen to that again, because I listen to his YouTube stuff. It keeps me tapped in. Yeah.
So Robby, Amelia had a question a few minutes ago.
Thanks, Murad. What are you referring to?
I have to remember what it was now. It might come back.
I want to say too that like someone had mentioned like the whole question about, it's not like I didn't question myself, and it's not like I thought, I can't even really, it's all in. When I say I'm not the same person, it's really even hard for me right now to go back and actually kind of like feel like, because I'm just not the same person. But I remember I used to question whether I was being cowardly, whether I was doing this because I was brave, because I thought I could, or if because I was cowardly, because I didn't think, because I was too scared of the chemo.
Mm-hmm.
Like your brain plays so many mind games. And it's you just got to keep shutting it up.
Yep. Beautiful. Hey, really quick to everybody, if you have a comment or a question, put that emoji hand up. If you don't know how to do it, just go like this and I'll see you. Yeah, so before we get to that, I just want to give a huge thank you and a round of applause for Bev. Like, you are such an inspiration. Seriously. That's so beautiful, being able to share all that. And would you even, just months ago, would you have been able to do this, or would you have wanted to do this? Like, and if not, like what's changed your mind?
So I feel like the reason I did the testimonial is because they were saying, if anything changed, and the testimonials were such a big influence to me. the testimonials were like literally my only community. That was the only thing like giving me that feedback that this was all possible. Even is the only thing that gave me the idea in the first place, because I hadn't attended an event or anything. But I was really, it's just not me. It's not my, I don't know. I think that I'm getting better at, I was telling Brianne that, because she's so courageous in standing up and saying, I'm gonna, show everybody. And I think that, I lived my life pretty, like I said, very, very privately. And for me, I'm still working on, I did a healing with Dr. Joe, and the biggest thing I healed was just even the awareness of my unworthiness, the awareness of the fact that like I always put everyone before me, and that I never thought I was, that like I said, I didn't know that like this mattered, that my story would matter. And it's something that I continue to work on. I continue to just, like I said, I'm just dealing with now just kind of keep peeling off some layers, but I would love to help. I just don't know. I also feel that like a lot of people talk about this big bang, like they had this miraculous event, and for me it wasn't. And actually, Hemmel, I think it was just, I don't know when it was, like last year was the first time that he actually said, we have proof, we have scientific evidence that doing these meditations upregulates all the genes necessary to get rid of cancer. It downregulates the cancer genes, and and it upregulates the things to overcome it. And I literally hugged him. I remember, just because it was the first time someone said to me, here's the science that says what you did. Here's what you did. Because I was so, I got myself so much, I sound like a lunatic maybe, that I was like in a la la land, or like in a, but like I was really just in a place where no, I'm healed. I'm healing myself, that I have the power. There was no one going to talk me out of it. It was like, there was nothing else. I wasn't letting anything else in. But then I was kind of like, how did that happen? Like I didn't really, it's just different to have the science. It's just different to have someone say, here's like, here's what happened.
Yep.
Because it feels just like kind of a really, really big dream. And when I say that, like that it was literally the best thing that could have happened to us. It just was. And it's a strange thing, but I mean, I had so many illnesses, and it was kind of, I was like, they say that you get knocked to the universe is knocking on you, God's knocking on you, trying to wake you up. That's why they're giving you these things. Nothing was waking me up, like nothing. So this is what it took. And
It's so courageous. Your courage is just, it's glowing right now. And as I look in the room, when you say, I have one screen on, so it's not everybody, but just like the science, I mean, the science too, just there's a bunch of miracles in this chat right now. This work, it's the belief, it's our collective energy. It's the stories that you're sharing that are giving people, we got so many, we're proving miracles right now, and proving the wrong of what we've been taught.
It works. The work works.
Yeah.
It just does. It's
Beautiful. Hey, so I have a question right here from Laura Duxta. She just said, do you feel good now? Energy, pain, clarity, etc.
I do. The only pain that I have really is dealing with my spine. I've got, it's funny because I was always told I had scoliosis, and now I have kyphosis. The not taking care of the severe whiplash was it just was a really dumb mistake. And whatever. So I'm seeing a chiropractor for that now. And he actually did all these x-rays. He's like, yeah, you barely have any scoliosis. I don't know. So I don't know. Anything can happen. But no, I do. I'm a completely different person. Do I have energy? I volunteered at a week long. Does that take energy or what?
It does. And sorry, I stepped on your feet a couple times while we were dancing.
Oh my God. Pleasure. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Uh,
A lot of energy. Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to volunteer. You basically sacrifice all your energy while you're there. That's big. That's big. Thor, what's up, my brother?
Bev, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And courage and resilience and all the things that you show are very inspiring. I'm thinking like a practical standpoint. You've mentioned many times that you're tired when you wake up. How do you get over the fatigue? You know, is it just becoming the new person and continually waking up saying, okay, I'm going to change today. I'm different today. And
so for me, I could be even now, anytime I could be dead stone tired and I could put on some music and it just pops me out of bed. I've got like, the good morning song is my alarm. And I moving, just figuring out what it takes, just not saying no. I think like a lot of it, think about like what Dr. Joe says about, the kid that wakes up for the field trip. You're dragging out of bed every damn day, but you got that field trip and you're up before anyone. And that's what it's like. That's just what it's like. And I got to tell you, like, after all this happened, there was definitely a huge lull where I felt like I had nothing else to work on, which is really stupid because I got a lot to work on, but it was kind of like, well, what do I do now? Because it was just, and I don't know, but, yeah, it's drumming up that power. It's just saying this, just making the decision that that's how it's going to be.
Even when it's not easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't easy. And I mentioned in the thing, I used to be in so much pain that I had these headphones. I'd have to prop my head up to have the headphones. I didn't want to lay down because he says, don't lay down. So I'm trying to sit up. So I'd prop myself up. I'd sit in like a beanbag or something because my whole body hurt. But the headphones would like weigh my head down and the pressure. Chronic pain is, for me, it was like someone screaming in my ear all the time. It's like, and it never ever stopped. And so the moment that's why meditations were actually magical too, because it shut it all down. And that even shows you that it's possible, because if it's possible to have it quiet there, it's possible to have it quiet here.
Beautiful.
Bev, now that you're on the other side of this, when you look back at the test results and you look back at those things, do they even matter to you? What did that feel like to be on the other side of this?
So it's funny, I was just telling Murad, we were talking at the Summer of Love. It feels, what does it feel like? So looking back at it, it almost feels like it happened to a different person. Like I literally don't have, it's a world away. But I still get nervous. Like I went in for a mammogram and all I kept thinking about was, have I reverted back to the person I used to be? Like he keeps saying that, and it's like, something like, and a friend of mine, because I've got this beautiful community now, I called a friend of mine. She's like, okay, find a place to go where you feel calm. So I was in my car. So I just drove to this lake. I sat at the lake and I'm like, all right, I feel better already. She's like, talked me off the ledge. She's like, think about, and it's what I still have stuff to work on. And my body is it's a fighter. And I just have to learn to shut that voice down. Because it's going to be there. Yeah, it's, I had such a beautiful, beautiful experience sitting down with Anita. I don't know if you're familiar with Anita Morjani, but she, had a near-death experience and overcame cancer. And I was telling her how I felt about, even at that time, it was only a year later. And I said, I literally feel like I'm in a different body. And she's like, you are. And we had the coolest conversation. Yeah, so I hope that helped.
Yeah, it does. Continually stepping forward, keep on moving.
Yeah. And it's, it's hard. It's not like I sat there and thought, like I knew I was in pain and I knew, you just kind of like work through it. I really wish instead of thinking of as pain, it's kind of like, well, this is just something I'm going through at the moment and it's going to go away. Like it's not a permanent, it's not an I am statement. Do you know what I mean? You don't define yourself by it. And that's a big difference.
When I move through the fatigue and I forget about it, I can go do something and not even think that I'm in a wheelchair. I'm not even paying attention to it.
Yep.
So I'm getting better and better at that. And it's just changing the perspective of who I know that I am.
That's beautiful. And hold on to that and figure out, what did you do to make that happen? Do it again tomorrow.
And then do it again tomorrow. And then
Do it again tomorrow. Yep. Yeah.
Thank you, Bev.
As you're talking, I was just looking at all the faces of just in this group right now. You've touched so many people, and when you finished your story and we were all clapping, just the energy that you're sharing with all of us, it's thank you so much. This is such a big deal. It really is.
It's hard because everyone's got their own story, you know. I think that one of the things that it's taught me too that I never used to do is you know, what is it trying to tell me? And if you figure out what it's trying to tell you, I think that I had read somewhere about breast cancer being all about like, you know, doing everything for everybody else and having anger and all this. And it spoke so much to me. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is me. And that's why, and then you start changing that about you. Then it's like, okay, I need to be a different person. And that's the whole, you know, breaking the habit work, right?
Yep.
I think it's a really big part of it.
I read someplace about MS is about not being able to say no.
You know, so you posted that, and I can't tell you how much that meant to me because I'm still dealing with this stuff, and it's like, you know, it's not affecting me and it's not progressing, but it's still, I'm not going to just ignore it because I think it's still there to tell me something. And I definitely suffer from the not saying no.
Yeah.
Until you're, you know, like I'd have 700 things going on. I mean, I literally was sleeping probably 2-3 hours a night, you know, because I just take on another thing. Oh yeah, I can drive all the kids. I can have everybody over. I can do all this. And then I'd be working all night. Yeah. So that really helped me actually. Thank you.
I love hearing how your change, you can clearly see the cascade ripple through to your family, right? Like you changed. You came to that face to face with yourself and you decided to make the change. And then the next thing you know, because you changed and you're not holding on to everything for everyone else, your husband had to change and step up. And so he's able to because you did. Until you did, he couldn't because he was playing his role in part perfectly. Y'all fit just right.
Yep.
And then you changed, and then your kids, and it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
No, it's true. And you know, someone actually, my kids were dancers, and someone at their dance school's mom was diagnosed like, I don't know, a week before me or something. So we went through this together, and she had a hard time. And my kids were like, just noticing, and just, I think it made such a huge impact on their life to see that I chose a different way and I actually pulled through it really strong. And it really did. And I hope they're able, you know, God forbid they're faced with a similar challenge, that they know that they have the power, right? That at least, you know, it's possible, because I think a lot of us didn't know these things were possible before. And that's huge.
Yeah, you've modeled a whole new paradigm of who's the authority figure.
Yeah.
For them, and they're just going to run naturally with it, right? They can't not see what you've done. Whew. Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Sean, somehow I got goosebumps with this red skin.
Yeah, it's yeah, same here.
Yeah, you see it exactly how I was seeing it, just the effect of what you're doing on other people in this room. But I mean, more specifically, your family and your daughter. When I heard that, it was just, it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal.
And it happened by being.
Yep.
Mhm.
You didn't say, I'm going to go change you and I'm going to tell you how you need to change. You changed.
Well, that was the whole, right, which is really, really, really amazing and powerful and just, yeah. And it's funny because in my testimonial, they chopped it up so much, but they made it sound like my kids are asking me like what to, I don't know what to eat, but it's like they just, before it was, I just want to do what my friends want to, I'm going to eat like, junk food and do whatever because my friends are doing it. And then instead of that, they'd be like, my mom thinks it's better for us to do this, so we're just going to do it. Like it wasn't, they just didn't even question me. It was just, we're just going to do whatever you tell us to do. It was just very, I don't know.
Your actions taught them. You being taught them.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
If I can get that to rub off on my kids, Bev, that would be awesome. If they just start doing whatever I tell them to do. Does that work for a 9 and a 6-year-old?
Well, they were 14 and 16. Girls at that age are not that easy.
That's true. Thank you so much. I just wanted to hop in real quick, just say thank you so much for sharing your story. The tremendous story of the possibility that's out there for all of us. And Robby, as always, thanks for providing the platform. These stories are just so important for everybody to hear over and over again, how powerful we are and the power that we have to take back in our lives to make the change that we want for ourselves. And in your case, as it was said, change for your family as well. So thank you so much for sharing. And it just was another great call that I'm happy and feel blessed to be a part of this community. And I just want to say thanks. That's all.
Super sweet, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
All right, Laura.
Thank you, Bev. That was so awesome. I really didn't get a chance to speak with you at the Summer of Love event. And actually, I didn't listen to the testimonial. I'm like, I'm just going to come on and listen to her story from her right now. There's two things that actually just came up. The question that I wanted to ask is, you touched on it, and I'd like you to just share even a little bit more if you could, of like not saying like, I have or I am. How did you, how else did you phrase it? I know Lala has her hand up right there. So I'm just, she's my soul sister. And I hear her, I've heard her say like, I have the ringing in the ears, but how do we say something without, address something without saying that it's like a part of who we are?
Sure. Well, like my favorite example, because I do it all the time now, is I, for some reason, and especially, oh my God, especially when I was having symptoms with my brain, beyond forgetful. And it would get very frustrating, get very mad at myself. And so I'd be like, freaking, I always forget. And then I started saying, you know what? At the moment, like if I forgot to get my purse and I went to my car, instead of saying, I always forget my purse, or I forgot my purse, I'd be like, I'm so glad I remembered. I am really good at remembering. I would have left without it, but I remembered to get it. And it's like, or, the pain in my neck, instead of saying, or for me, like being tired is like, has been a huge issue for many, many years. And so like, instead of being, I am tired, which I hear myself even say, I'm so tired. My body needs a rest. I wonder what I did, or can I energize myself, or just, I don't like it. Just, it's catching yourself saying it and just not allowing those words and just saying, because when you say I am, you're defining yourself as something, and you're telling your body I am and blank. And if you don't want to be that, then don't say that. And, if you are, if you have ringing in your ears and it's like, wow, what are my ears saying to me right now? My ears are talking. I don't know, just have a much lighter, fun. You can't ignore it. You can't pretend it's not there, but it's to not make it into a permanent, an I am statement is way more like definitive, right? You're defining
right. Like I am, or I have. I love the way that you just did that with the tired. Is there something I can do? And you chimed in, you were like, oh, I just listened to that song and it energized me, right?
Oh my
So gosh,
you woke me up
right?
that morning when you
Awesome.
posted that song. I can't even tell you. I was like,
Good.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
all I needed. I was so
Awesome.
like, yeah, that was awesome.
Awesome. And so the other thing I was like, oh, I kind of just forgot the other question that came up was, because you mentioned, somebody else was going through this with you. How do you feel now when you either hear that somebody is dealing with something, or, it's different if somebody comes to you? Do you think that this is a path for everyone and you suggest it and recommend it? Or do you try to just, this is what worked for you? People
Yeah.
either need to discover it on their own, or what's your
I think the best advice I got was that you need to do what your heart's saying. And if you, I had heard this before, that if if you choose to go down the traditional path, then, when you're sitting there with, the chemo, like imagine it being little angels going into your body, healing you and only healing, and it's just a matter of make it, I think it's so important. I think that if I chose to not do the traditional route and didn't really believe in it, it would have failed. And I think that if I wasn't so scared, if I tried to do the traditional route and I was like very adamant about the fact that I thought it was going to poison me or kill me, then it probably would have. Like, I really believe that. I mean, I don't know if it can go to that extreme, but I think that it would have just headed in that direction. And I chose, I think primarily, and again, I really believe, as the angels that were on my driveway, were there guiding me. If I wasn't so sick, I wouldn't have been so against going the traditional route. And so this being so sick actually helped me choose the right way. Because when I actually woke up, when I found out that I didn't have the cancer anymore, and a friend of mine said to me, why are you still going? I just sat there and I realized, like, at one moment, I just realized, I never noticed that all this other stuff was gone. Like, I didn't even notice. The only thing, I was left with chronic Lyme for another year. It was very bizarre to me. And even the fact that I had to like write things down, and someone had mentioned something and something I was listening to, I'm like, shit, I had that too. Like, it was crazy. At one point I was at home. I don't know if you know the TV show House, but I was Googling, a real live house to try to find a doctor that would actually, figure out what was wrong with me. Because I was just so sick. But anyways, yeah, went off on a tangent on that.
Tangents are good. Tangents are good.
Sorry. La la.
La la.
Hi, Bev.
Hi.
Say thank you. This is amazing. I feel like every time someone in the family shares their story of healing, it's like it powers us all up. It just adds so much fuel to everything, like just hearing the stories and being able to add to your toolbox, and just hearing another victory, it makes you feel empowered. It makes if they can do it, I can do it, and we are one. So it's so inspiring to me. And when I tell you that you guys like turned me around yesterday, I am not kidding. Like the just everything about it, the interaction that you all had with me was just so mind-blowing and heart-blowing. And I'm just so grateful. And Beth, thank you so much for sharing. I agree with you. Like, I've been trying to thank my body for different things, as far as like the tinnitus and or even just being tired. I'll just thank my body for letting me know that I need to rest. Even things like the tinnitus that is so annoying, I can thank that, knowing that it's a marker that it has let me know that there is something that I still need to work on, so we can be grateful for those things.
And ask it. What does it tell you when you ask it? What is it trying to tell you?
Yeah. sometimes I do that a lot. I do a lot of asking. I don't always know what the answer is, but I just keep asking. And I've come across a couple cool things that I'm going to share in our chat. I came across a guy today. His name is Aaron Doherty. I can't remember. You guys have probably, maybe some of you have seen him on YouTube, but he's one of two Aarons that I love to listen to. But he was talking about the Ho'oponopono, which I've used over the past few years, but not in the way that he's talking about. And I started listening to this video, and I'm actually going to go back and listen to it and take notes, because it was such a powerful tool, the way he utilizes it. And he said it changed his life back in 2012 forever. He thinks it's one of the most powerful, I think he said the most powerful tool he's ever come across. But so I'm going to share that in the chat, because, you know, I'm coming across a lot of you all are sharing things with me too that are just exciting me to add to what I'm already doing. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And I'll share anything that I find. So, and also the other thing that, Laura, that you were asking about, I think for me, thinking of myself, the more I can think of myself and know myself as the awareness and not the 3D avatar that is housing the awareness right now, when I can separate that and look at things from the awareness point of view, I can separate it, and I can say, okay, my avatar has these things in the body, but who I truly am is wholeness. And the more I can step into that, and the more I can realize that and embody that wholeness, the avatar will also embody that wholeness.
Yeah, can I say something to that too? And what that reminds me of is Brienne's approach and what she brought on her Sunday night journey, but also as well as your comments towards it, because you brought that up too. You brought it back up to that. It's just powerful. Brienne basically heard the opposite of what she wanted to hear, but realized it wasn't her. And what you told her was that sometimes it was very, very deep stuff. You know, it takes time for the 3D avatar to catch up.
Catch up, right?
With what we're, you know, with what our mind and our souls and our intuition are picking up.
Can I just say something that's profoundly important?
Please.
Lala, I'm just using what you said as a launching off point. The 3D awareness doesn't house, the 3D reality or body or whatever doesn't house the awareness. The 3D reality appears in awareness. That is so bloody profound, that distinction. It's appearing in awareness. And don't even say the awareness houses it.
Murat, can you repeat that one more time, buddy?
Lala said 3D awareness houses the awareness, which is what we think. You know, we have our bodies and we sort of embody our consciousness and awareness, and that's kind of how we talk, because we're talking from the 3D mind, whatever body sort of identity. But the huge shift occurs, not when we know it, not when we believe it, but when we experience it, that all this is appearing in awareness. Because then you shift to being awareness. And Joe tries to point it out subtly in his meditations. But it's subtle, and we have, even this thing about manifesting and all, it's all nonsense from the point of view of awareness. It's of huge significance when you talk from the body, because you're sick and you want more money and you want a relationship and you want a house, you want your cancer to go away. So of course it's important from the body mind. But from awareness's point of view, it makes no difference. This lifetime doesn't make a difference. It's just things on a screen. Now that's a huge, it's one thing to say it, it's a whole other thing to embody it. But that's where we are going. That's the path. All this manifesting stuff is cute. It's not the path. Because all you do is become a bigger limited you, a better limited you. You're still a limited version of yourself. The real goal is to get there. But it's hard to get there. It's hard to think of stuff if your stomach is hurting. If you're hungry, it's hard to think of the divine, right? Because you're hurting. So you got to start where you're hurting. But ultimately, none of this matters. And the reason I'm actually also saying it because Michael reached out to me this evening and made a comment. So Michael, this is sort of an answer to you also. But I don't want to distract from the call, but it's just this. Let me just leave you with this sentence. All this is appearing in awareness. Even meanness is appearing in awareness. Until you then identify that the meanness, the I-ness is the big I, which is awareness. That's a whole different subject. But that's what's really vitally important. Okay, sorry I jumped in, but that's too much for me to let go. So
you got to be aware of losing that sorry. Your words are so inspirational and make so much sense. They cut through all the fat and the clutter and they hit right at home. Thank you for always giving us your wisdom. You really, you are the man. All right, so Sean's going to go up, and David, I see your hand up as well. So Sean, what's up, brother?
So I had a thought to throw in there that came up back when Laura was sharing, and it ties in with what Murad was just saying, I think. So if this is all about experience, let's see, like Bev, you talked about, hey, oh crap, I forgot my purse. You have that moment, right? We have that moment that we've memorized and we've practiced so many times, and it's typically a judgmental and negative one. And so we're trying to catch ourselves and shift. I heard something that Matthias De Stefano was breaking down duality the other day. And so we got a wave, right? Like you have to have a positive and a negative to have a wave. And that's like the experience, the positive and negative, the relativity of things is what provides that experience. So it says, check out when we go to jump. Do we not bend down at the knees first before we go up? Like it's the nature, right, of life. So, okay, cool. So when I have that knee-jerk, crap, I forgot my keys. I got to go back into the house and start that stuff. I can just recognize, wait, I just had a surge of energy that I've labeled a certain thing, but it's just an emotion, right? It's just energy moving. Now, can I embrace that and just take it as I just bent down? Can I jump? Can I bring this energy that's down in the survival centers that's judging and move it up into my heart and be grateful that stimulated a move into my heart? And now my junk is stimulating love. Now the crud that I want to change is just the cue to move up into the heart. I'm just wrapping my whatever around it. It came on in the last couple of days, but if that connects with anyone, yay, good. If I figure anything else, I'll share.
Love it. Beautiful, man. Share as much as you can as well, please. Very poetic. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Love this stuff. I love this stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
All right, David, what's up, my brother?
Hey, everybody. Sean, that was awesome. Left me a little speechless. I just wanted to, I had posted something earlier today, I guess it was this morning, that I commented a little bit on it, and there was a little bit of chatter about it. I would encourage everybody, because it's right along with what we've been talking about. So the guy in the video, he was basically had COVID, and he was put on a ventilator, and he basically was told he was going to die, and he, floated off into a coma, saying goodbye to his wife and his kid as he was kind of fading away. And he talks about, when he gets on there, he basically, we are not this body, we are not any of these things. We are, and the thing that he said, and I had mentioned it before, but I used to think that I came here and I was going there, meaning I was on earth and I was going to heaven, but I found out that I was from heaven and I came here and they sent me back. And it's just so beautiful from somebody who's had that, experience, that they've been on the other side. It's again, not something you wish for, but it's like, Bev was talking about Anita. It's a very similar perspective that I don't know, it always resonates with me that it so truly when you hear it from somebody. So I just encourage everybody to check that out, even though it is a little bit long.
That's a YouTube video that you posted, correct?
Yep.
Good stuff. And if you can, because literally you don't see any.
I'll put it back in. Yeah.
It's gonna be like.
Yeah. I'll put it back in.
I was looking just to watch.
He's got shorter ones too. He has like a 10-minute one where he does too, but because he's got I guess he's basically, and he's not Dr. Joe. He's not, there's no mention of Dr. Joe in any of it, but he's gone out and spoke over and over about this because now it's just sort of his, something he's called to tell people about. So it's great.
Thank you, David. Okay, so Angela, I see your hand up. Amazing Angela, the mermaid. Oh, are you muted? Can you hear me? You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. You were muted and you unmuted yourself. Not sure. All right. I'm going to try to go telecommunicate. Oh, there we go.
Okay, somehow my earbuds, anyway. So thank you so much, Bev, for sharing. It was really wonderful to meet you at the Summer of Love up there in Maine. And I just want to know if you can speak to, your story is incredible. We're so blessed to have you share it. But you talked a little bit about during the journey, part of what you discovered, it was really overcoming that worthiness or unworthiness, I should say, that you felt. I heard that word in there. So I just want to know if you can speak a little bit to that and expand on that a little bit more.
Well, sure. I think that, for me, again, I used to joke around a lot about, Dr. Joe says crossing that river of change. He made it sound like it's, it's a river that you can kind of actually cross, but I feel like mine is so freaking wide. I don't know that I'm ever getting to I don't know that I even want to get to the other side because this is such a beautiful process and unveiling every layer of the onion. So after I was healed and from the cancer, I did I did a healing at I think it was in Toronto in 2018. And so I was a Healy. And Dr. Joe back in those days, he still talks to the Healys, but I mean, it was just really cool. He had us in like a separate room and they put candlelight and it was like, I don't know, it was really cool. But he talks about just why you're there and the fact that you're worthy to receive the love. And I just broke down. I completely like, it's almost like I blacked out the rest of when the actual healing took place because his words it spoke to me just that, in order to really, continue peeling this onion, you've got to actually realize that you are worthy and you've got to actually, I didn't have a whole lot of love in my life, growing up. And I didn't feel, I didn't have a whole lot of safe places kind of thing. And there's something about, his events, it's just pure love. And it's just a beautiful place that everyone can feel safe to experience what you are. And that to me was a huge healing for me. That's all I said. Like just realizing, coming up with the awareness, because I never even realized that I felt that way. So just becoming aware of the fact that I had these issues of feeling that I wasn't worthy, that it was like, I tried when they actually gave me my healing coin, I tried to give it away like 3 times. I kept finding someone else who was more worse off than me, who needed it more than me.
I've heard that so many times. It's just, wow. Yeah.
I think it's a huge, I really, really believe that the worthiness issue is something that is so core in a lot of our illnesses. I think that it's a big part. Like if you can, it's a huge part about getting better.
It is. I don't know if anybody here is into Dolores Cannon, but that's pretty much, she says 100% of all cancer is everything you just said. That and anger.
Wow.
One
Did
more
that answer
comment.
your question?
Yes, it did. And I just have one more comment. What I really appreciated about your share is that, there's obviously a lot of things that have happened to you over the years, but I love how you tell the story without all the emotion. Like it's just, you're not being that person, like you said, and that's really wonderful that this work has helped you. Like you said, you're a different person than you were then, but it's not like you had emotion attached to the stuff that happened in your share that came through to me.
Oh,
So I really appreciated that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's true though. The emotional charge is really gone from, and I'll tell you, I've been so it's years later, it's 6 years later, I'm still doing the work and working through so many other things. And that's just funny you said that, because it's one of the things that I've noticed in that as I'm dealing with these, like, kind of recognizing, experiencing traumas that I had in my life, I no longer have this emotional charge to it. I actually just recently did some trauma work with someone, and she told me it was going to be 12 weeks of, all this stuff, whatever. And I was really hesitant because she wanted me to like get into the memory of everything. And I'm like, oh, like all my learning says you don't really want to go back there, but it worked out well, because it really brought to light like all of these beliefs that I had in my head since I was a young kid that have affected me throughout my, like, I can't, like, I never knew that. And I think I had like 6 sessions with her, and I'm like, I'm done. And she's like, she was blown away by how fast I moved through it, because I feel like once you're aware, then you just move, it's a whole new ball game. It's the stuff we're not aware of that's still buried deep inside that keeps us, in trouble. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Angela. Leela, how we doing?
Fine, thanks. Thank you. Thank you so much for having Bev here. And and I wanted to thank you so much, Bev, for sharing. It's amazing to me the amount of dedication and work that you put into it. Like I could tell when you were talking that it was years of just, I don't want to say, well, I just have a phrase and it's not appropriate. But anyway, you just really, really good, really inspiring. And I wanted to know if you, I'm kind of running up against it. I mean, I've had some awareness about this just today, big time. And I'm wondering, maybe I heard you talk about it, but I was wondering, your experience with this, but feeling like it's okay not to know something, like it's okay not to get it right. It's like,
I'm so sorry, my speaker just stopped working. I missed like the past a little bit of what you just said.
Okay. Is it working now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sometimes my Bluetooth connects to my other speakers. I don't know, whatever.
Technology, we love it, right? But anyway, like how you dealt with feelings, if you even had them, like it's like the awareness that it's okay to do it wrong. It's okay not to succeed. It's okay to not be good enough right away, to not be smart enough right away, to not, I mean, I guess there was like this part of me that felt like I just had to do everything right all the time. And I was really good at it, but when I don't do it right, it was kind of devastating, like, and would hold me back, like, and I'm just kind of wrapping my head around that, and just like kind of being okay with getting it wrong. Did you have those kind of things come up for you at all?
In terms of getting what right and wrong, I might have missed part of, yeah.
Oh, like, well, really anything, but like, if there's a meditation and I don't have this moment, or
right.
I'm still dealing with stuff, like I thought I handled it and here it is again, or I'm stuck in the middle of a limited belief and it's really hard to get out of it, or just, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I just don't, like in a meditation or something, or anything. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's just like I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just everything's a work in progress, and I think, like, in terms of the meditations, again, Dr. Joe, the way he says, every single meditation you do, every single time, even though your brain could be chattering it all up, every single time you shut it down.
I know
neural connections, and you've made improvements every single time. And so if I even have a meditation where for whatever reason my brain is going, I think, you know what, it was just an experience, and I have allowed myself to come up against this noise, and I did okay. I made it through. And the same with the breath. The first time I did the breath was at the Progressive, and I tried so hard. I literally burst blood vessels in my face. I was like, I don't even know what I was doing. I really don't. Oh my God. And but he says every time you're trying, you're actually creating this pathway. And if you think that every time you just give it an effort, every effort, you're one step further.
And I think, I know that in my heart, but even in life, I think this is just the process that I'm going through right now. And I'm so grateful to be able to speak my truth, and to say where I'm at. And I just wanted to ask, and I appreciate what you're saying. And I think you're right. I think that every effort, whether it's, in just in life in general, dealing with limiting beliefs, and even if it doesn't work, to just have compassion and love. I just came to that decision that whatever happens for somebody else, if they're making mistakes or if I'm making mistakes, to just, if I'm just loving and I'm kind to myself or the other person, then it's all good, no matter what. So
yeah.
Anyway,
Beautiful.
yeah, I appreciate your being here today, Bev. It meant a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Leela, thank you for that question too, because I know that resonated with a lot of people in here. It's not just you.
You think so? Because I feel like I just
I know.
No, I think, and I feel bad. I don't know how to respond to it, because I feel like my daughter actually, you want to take a shot? Because I was going to say my daughter actually has she really struggles with perfectionist.
Yeah.
She's just really to the point where she's studying her first year of college. She's enjoying herself. I mean, she goes out all the freaking time, and she ended up with she got the first B in her life.
I got one in college.
She ended up with a 3.85, and she was so proud of herself for breathing through it, for not like having an anxiety attack over it. But every time it's mentioned, she gets really upset, and it's mind blowing. It's like, because it's something that I was a perfectionist to some degree, but I think you just got to ask yourself, like, what are you getting from it?
I'm so happy that I see it. I saw it today in a meditation, and I never in a million years would have classified myself as a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, it's the first, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
See it. Yeah. And it's actually, I think you'll find that it's really freeing to allow yourself to screw up.
And others too.
Really
I think my
freeing.
husband's going to really like this.
So Kevin wrote the effort is the experience, but I think he was going to say something too.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, I've kind of struggled with similar thoughts and stuff in the past, and you know, just am I doing this right all the time, and just always, you know, being the hardest on myself and analyzing everything that I'm doing in this journey to try to, you know, get to where I want to be in life and heal and things like that. And someone gave me some really good advice that really made a difference for me. And one of my friends who I was talking to about this, she said, Kevin, one of the most important things you can do on this journey is be that compassionate coach for yourself. So, you know, that was huge for me. Just, you know, sometimes we're so compassionate towards other people. We're always cheering other people on. We're always propping other people up. That, you know, we're not being that compassionate coach for ourselves. And so, I mean, that's something I've just tried to work on a lot, is just no matter, you know, what it is, just making sure that, you know, I'm being that compassionate coach that I need to be for myself. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
It helps me a lot.
Oh, sorry, Bev.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know if everyone can relate to it, but something that helps me out like a lot is asking myself what I would do. I literally take whatever situation it is and pretend it's my daughter and what I would say to her. I would never be anywhere as hard on my kids as I am on myself.
Yeah.
Or anyone else, really. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, so why am I doing that to yourself? Like, if you know, why would I do that to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it usually sounds like, bro, you're doing fucking awesome. Just keep going. That's what I tell myself. Like, hey, dude, you're doing awesome. Keep going. Stop, you know, overanalyzing. Just keep going.
Yeah, instead of oh, you could do better, or what could you do better? What are you missing? You know, what's not there? You know, what are you not seeing? You know, just yeah, this is great. Thank you.
This is what this is all about, these conversations. All right, guys, so it's 9. Thank you, Leela. You are not alone on that question, so deep down know that. So I want to go through the thread just really quick. Let me just catch up to it, just because I know there's a lot of great comments here for you, Bev. And if anybody, while I'm doing that, just put your hand up if anything comes up while I'm reading. Okay, so from Heidi, Bev, so amazing. You are a powerhouse. From Laura Duxta, amazing, Bev. Do you feel, oh, I already read that. Amelia, field trip. Yes, into the field every damn day. Let's go. From Nina, Bev, thank you for sharing. Love hearing your courageous journey. You are so inspiring. I'm so happy you did this, Bev. From JS Pals, sorry, what, if you can hear, what's your first name? I'm sorry. Let me unmute you.
James Malenka.
James, nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you. Thanks, Murad, for inviting me.
Big Murad, bringing in the powerhouse. I love it. So yeah, James wrote, thank you for being an inspiration and thank you for your story. David Winarski, thank you for sharing. Your story definitely helps me with everything, or helps with everything. Ilka, thank you, Bev. So very inspiring. From Lala, Bev, thank you so much for taking us on this journey with you. I am so inspired by you. From Jill Olja, what's up, Jill? Thank you so much for sharing. Beautiful and so inspiring. From Allison Mupos, thank you so much, Bev. You are my 4-minute mile. From me, I'll be right back. Be right back. My dog is barking. From Nina, change our language is so essential. I am not tired, etc. Ask my body what it's saying. And then thanks, Bev, from Nina. From Susan, Eve, appreciate Bev, you sharing your experience. Thank you. From Kevin D, it is the region beta paradox. It is sometimes better for things to be extremely bad for you, but manageable, as that will give you the energy clarity to decide to make real change. Amelia, never mind. What did I miss yesterday? If you have time to read a book, go through the thread and you can find out. similar space to a book as far as what's written. I love it. We have such a caring and collective community. So great. From Ruth, thank you so much for sharing your story. Much love. From Hardeep, thank you for sharing. From Allison Mupos again. Whoa, Murad, that is true. Love it. From Ariel to Murad again. This guy is brilliant. I echo that. From James again, thank you, Murad. From Lala, thank you so much, Murad. From Kevin to Sean, thanks. That was cool, man. From Amelia, I can see myself actually physically jumping now every time I slip up. Thank you, Sean. From Audrey to Sean, right, Sean, it's all about transmuting to the plus, to the positive. So David just shared his link. So you guys, for what David was discussing, the YouTube link is there. And if it's also in the Dot Connecting Morning Warriors WhatsApp link. And from Laura, that's my word, Angela. Thanks to the Catholic Church, or how I heard it. From Susan, believe and continue with perseverance. Love the video. From Audrey, thank you and bless you, Bev, for sharing and teaching us. Yes, with capital letters and big exclamation points. The effort is the experience. From Kevin. Thank you so much, Bev. From David. Leela, perfectionism is something I'm working to, sorry, there's something that blocks the last word on the second line. Working to leave in my old body. That is from Allison. Again, from Laura, thank you all. You are limitless love. From Catherine, thank you, Bev. Love you all. Love to you all. Thank you, Bev. From Allison again. Lala, I have to run. She loves you, Bev. From Murad. Dear Bev, this was so inspirational. Cherish your words and wisdom. Love to all. We are all so blessed to have each other. I echo that as well, Murad. My computer might run out of juice. Yes, Kevin, Bev, Murad, Leela, Angela, Lala, Robbie, and everyone who shared. From Laura. Thank you, Bev. I appreciate you sharing your courageous story. That is from John Mullane, the dancing. I got to figure out a good nickname for John now. But thank you, John. Your energy is always felt. I love you so much. From David, all you see that you cannot believe was created with love reflects a way in which you are caught in the illusion that you are not loved. Allow yourself to see the love that you are, and you will see all reality is made with love. Joseph Campbell. Love you all. Good night. From Margaret Bryce, thank you, Bev. I love that you are in your new you. Thank you for sharing. Blessed to be here today. One more round of applause for Bev. That was such a great story. It was such a great couple hours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Not easy to do what you did, and I appreciate it, and everybody here appreciates it. And lives are going to change. Where so much is going to happen tomorrow just because of this conversation, or even later tonight.
Hope so. Let's go.
Go. Let's fucking go.
Go.
Can I get a let's fucking go from you? I heard your mouth a couple times.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. I love you guys so much. If anybody has anything to say, please put your hand up. For all those that are still in the room, next week we're going to have Leland Holgate, the Willful Warrior, as a guest. So it's going to be a really good one. So he has a great story as well that we're just going to piggyback on. I love you guys. Russ, look at that smile. Look at that smile. Susie, look at that smile.
Love you, Robbie. Thanks, brother.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Much love.
Thank you, Bev.
Everybody.
Love you.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
From Susie. Ilka, I love your smile. It looks like a photo until you went like that.
Bye. Good night.
Love you, Robbie.
Glowing. Love you guys. Love you, Amelia. Love you, Brian. Love you, Thor.
Love you.
Good night.
Ariel, Diana. Kathy, where you at? Oh, Kathy, where'd you go?
Ready.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll see you in the morning. 5 a.m. Let's go.